What coronavirus gives you is a great deal of time to think. One said, I didn't consider finishing it, fortunately, due to my child. Be that as it may, I really do know such countless individuals who have had those self-destructive contemplations. I was crying to the bookkeeper, and the person kept me on hold. I figure he would have rather not been the last individual who conversed with me. Who said this? Please hear attentively this video. You will learn a good lesson, and I believe that. Nobody cares. Nobody needs to carve out an opportunity to tune in. Taylor wrote in a last text to a companion discussing the predicament of millions of victims of long coronavirus, a debilitating condition that can keep going for a really long time after the underlying disease. Chicago and London, September 8. Scott Taylor never got to continue on from coronavirus. The 56 years old who came down with the illness in spring 2020 still had not recaptured around a and a half some other time when he committed suicide at his home close to Dallas, having lost his well-being, memory and cash. Nobody cares. Nobody needs to carve out an opportunity to tune in. Taylor wrote, I can scarcely do clothing without complete depletion. Torment, exhaustion, torment all unpredictable. My spine, world turning, oozly, sickness, heaving, loose bowels. It appears I stop and have no clue about what I am talking about, Taylor added. Long coronavirus is a mind-boggling ailment that can be difficult to analyze as it has a scope of in excess of 200 side effects, some of which can look like different sickness, from weariness and mental disability to torment, fever, and heart palpitations, as per the World Wellbeing Association (WWA). There is no definitive information on the recurrence of suicide among victims. A few researchers from associations including the US Public Organizations of Wellbeing and England's Information Assortment Organization are starting to concentrate on a potential connection following proof of expanded instances of misery and self-destructive considerations among individuals with long coronavirus, as well as a developing number of known bust-outs. I am certain long coronavirus is related with self-destructive considerations, with self-destruction endeavors, with self-destruction plans and the gamble of self-destruction demise. We simply don't have epidemiological information, said Leosher, a therapist at Mount Sinai Wellbeing Framework in New York who concentrates on state of mind problems and self-destructive way of behaving. Among inquiries currently being analyzed by analysis, does the gamble of self-destruction possibly increase among patients in light of the fact that the infection is changing mind science? Or on the other hand, does the deficiency of their capacity to work as they once did drive individuals to the edge, as can occur with other long-haul medical issues? She said torment problems overall were an extremely impressive indicator of self-destruction, as was irritation in the mind, which a few examinations have connected with long coronavirus. We ought to treat this in a serious way, he added. An examination for Reuters directed by a Seattle-based well-being information firm TrueVeta showed that patients with long coronavirus were almost 2 times as liable to get a first-time stimulant remedy in no less than 90 days of their underlying coronavirus finding, contrasted, and individuals determined to have coronavirus alone. The investigation depended on information from 20 significant U.S. emergency clinic frameworks, including more than 1.3 million grown-ups with the coronavirus finding and 19,000 with a long coronavirus determination between May 2020 and July 2022. The expected long-haul impacts of coronavirus are ineffectively perceived with states and researchers simply now beginning to efficiently concentrate on the area as they rise out of a pandemic that itself caught unaware a large part of the world, while numerous long coronavirus patients recuperate more than time. Around 15% still experience side effects following a year, as per the College of Washington's Establishment for Wellbeing Measurements and Assessment (IASME). There's no demonstrated treatment, and incapacitating side effects can leave victims unfit to work. The ramifications of long coronavirus possibly being connected with an expanded chance of dysfunctional behavior and self-destruction are grave. In America alone, the condition has impacted up to 23 million individuals, the US Government Responsibility Office assessed in spring. Long coronavirus has likewise pushed generally 4.5 million jobless, equivalent to around 2.4% of the US labor force, Business Master Katie Batch of the Brookings Foundation told Congress in July. Around the world, almost 150 million individuals are assessed to have grown long coronavirus during the initial 2 years of the pandemic, as indicated by the IASME. In many non-industrial nations, an absence reconnaissance of long coronavirus makes the image significantly murkier, said Murad Khan, a psychiatry teacher at Aga Khan College in Karachi, Pakistan, who is essential for a worldwide gathering of specialists exploring the self-destruction risk connected to coronavirus. We have an enormous issue, yet we don't have a clue about the degree of the issue, he said. Time is a scan product for a developing number of long coronavirus victims who said they are hitting rock bottom financially. As per Reuters interviews with a few dozen patients, relatives and illness specialists. For Taylor, who lost his employment selling genomic tests to doctors in a series of cutbacks in the mid-year of 2020. The limit came when his protection inclusion through his previous manager was expected to lapse and his application for government-backed retirement benefits was denied, his family said. It was the absolute last thing that could be tolerated, his more established sibling Imprint Taylor said. Heidi Ferrer, a 50-year-old television screenwriter initially from Kansas, committed suicide in May 2021 to get away from the quacks and horrifying torment that left her unfit to work or rest in the wake of contracting coronavirus over a year sooner, her better half Scratch, Guthrie said. Guthrie, a producer who has turned into a promoter for long coronavirus victims since his better half's passing, expressed that until this past winter, he had not known about different suicides inside the organization of long coronavirus patients. They were presently coming consistently, he said. Survivor Corps of Backing Bonds for Long Coronavirus Patients said it surveyed their participation in May and viewed that as 44% of almost 200 respondents said that they had thought about self-destruction. Lauren Nichols, a board part at the Long Coronavirus Support Bonds body politic, expressed that through contact with relatives via virtual entertainment, she knew about in excess of 50 individuals with long coronavirus who had committed suicide. However, Reuters couldn't freely affirm the cases. Nicholas, 34, an operations master for the U.S. branch of transportation in Boston, says she personally has considered self-destruction a few times as a result of long coronavirus. She has languished over 2 years. Live Global encourages English speakers on the most proficient method to look for assistance with helping kicking the bucket in Switzerland, where willful extermination is lawful with specific checks. Fiona Stewart, a chip, said the association, which doesn't follow results in the wake of giving exhortation, had gotten a few dozen requests from long coronavirus patients during the pandemic and was currently getting around one per week. So, long coronavirus and Omicron. The US Public Organizations of Wellbeing is following emotional well-being influences as a feature of its $470 million recuperate study into long coronavirus. Early outcomes on tension and sadness rates are normal by early September, yet data on self-destruction will take more time, said Dr. Stuart Koch, our lead specialist. What we can be sure of is that people with constant diseases are helpless to self-destructive contemplations, self-destruction endeavors, and self-destruction finish, said Richard Gallagher, an academic administrator, a youngster psychiatry at NYU Langone, well-being who is essential for recuperate. On whether or not the infection changes the cerebrum, Gallagher said there was some proof that coronavirus can cause mind aggravation, which has been connected to self-destruction and gloom, even among individuals who had generally gentle illness. There might be immediate here and there harmful impacts of the infection, and some portion of it will be irritation, he said. Long coronavirus or normal diminishes, generally speaking, well-being by 21%, like complete deafness or a horrible mind injury, the College of Washington's ISME found. Albeit a few specialists anticipated that Omicron should be less inclined to cause long coronavirus, official UK information derived for the current month so that 34% of the 2 million long coronavirus victims in the nation first start their side effects after an Omicron disease. An English government warning gathering is reading up the self-destruction risk for long coronavirus patients, contrasted and the more extensive populace. While the State Office for Public Insights (ONS) is exploring whether it can evaluate forthright a long coronavirus patient's gamble of self-destruction as it accomplishes for individuals with different infections like malignant growth. Medical issues that are debilitating long haul might add to self-destruction risk. Consequently, the worry over lengthy coronavirus, said Luz Appleby, a psychiatric teacher at the College of Manchester and a UK government counsellor. For sheer research in England and Spain tracked down a 6-hour lab expanded hazard of self-destruction among patients with myalgic encephalomyelitis or ongoing exertion disorder, ME or CFS, another post-viral disease with comparative side effects to long coronavirus when contrasted, and everybody. England's Organization of Long Coronavirus Treatment focuses is likewise radically oversubscribed, adding to a feeling of sadness for some. In June, the most recent month on record, just 33% of patients got an arrangement in no less than about a month and a half of being allowed by their nearby specialists, and 1/3 needed to sit tight for over 15 weeks. Ruth Ashikandu, a previous maternity specialist and well-being guest in London turned pregnancy mentor, said her long coronavirus medical conditions consolidated to drive her near the brink. At the point when her business briefly collapsed because of obligation issues after she battled to work, she felt her life was finished. I was crying to the bookkeeper, and the person kept me on hold. I figure he would have rather not been the last individual to converse with me, the 48-year-old reviewed. What coronavirus gives you is a great deal of time to think, she said. I didn't consider finishing it, fortunately, due to my child. Be that as it may, I really do know such countless individuals who have had those self-destructive contemplations. Please subscribe the channel for visiting my next video. Share, like and comment. for this video. I really appreciate all of you for visiting my videos. Thanks to all. Bye from this moment.